The motive for the murder of the London teenager Stephen Lawrence was set out in court today. It was, said the prosecution, the colour of his skin. The jury heard how he was swallowed up by a gang of white youths who had shouted a racist insult. Our crime correspondent John Clements was at the Stephen Lawrence trial and heard today's evidence.
He was murdered, prosecutors said, because he was black. Stephen Lawrence was trying to get home on the night of April the 22nd, 1993. He never did. Instead, he was attacked by this bus stop in Eltham, southeast London, by a racist mob. Among them were Gary Dobson and David Norris, the Old Bailey heard. Stephen's father, Neville, came to court this morning to hear the case against the pair, who both deny murder. But before his son's last moments were described, he chose to leave the room. The court heard that a group of white youths shouted at Stephen and his friend Dwayne Brooks. Mark Ellison QC told the court one of the group was heard to say, "What? What?" The prosecutor then used a term of extreme racial abuse. Stephen tried to run away, but the youths charged and stabbed him twice, once on the ground. He picked himself up and ran down Wellhall Road before collapsing and bleeding to death. The mob had run up Dixon Road into an estate where Gary Dobson was living at the time. Police investigating Stephen's murder first arrested Dobson and Norris 2 weeks after the attack, but found no forensic evidence against them. But a cold case review 5 years ago, using modern scientific techniques like these, found fibres from Stephen's clothes on a jacket belonging to Dobson and a spot of blood on his collar. The court heard DNA proved there was a 1 in a billion chance it belonged to anyone other than Stephen Lawrence. On Norris's clothing, the same scientists found fibres from Stephen's clothes and 2 of his hairs. The court also heard that Dobson told police he'd never left home on the night of the murder, but he changed his story under arrest, saying he had gone round to the nearby home of 2 friends, Jamie Acorte and his brother Neil Acorte. Barristers for Gary Dobson and David Norris told the jury they would challenge the forensic evidence. They said the results had been contaminated and did not prove that either defendant had murdered Stephen. Instead, they proved that the police had not properly stored the material over the last 18 years. Tomorrow the prosecution will call its first witnesses. John Clements, ITV News, the Old Bailey.
The anti-capitalist